Alright, it's time to talk about it. There's a new sport on the horizon that's going to drop this month, and it's got more hype than Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao all those years ago. It is a sport that, if given enough time, maybe like 10 years, will probably be more popular than soccer. It's called sperm racing.
Introducing Sperm Racing, the world's first microscopic racetrack.
This is the trailer they posted on their Instagram announcing it. It reminds me of that old anti-piracy commercial, you wouldn't download a car. The first event comes in like a week. It's got $1.5 million invested in this. It's going to be hosted at the Hollywood Palladium in Los Angeles, which is a huge stage. This is basically like the Coachella for nut. As the name would imply, you are watching sperm race on a microscopic track as it tries to get to the finish line first. Now, the sperm, of course, doesn't know that it's in an athletic competition. It thinks it's going to fertilize an egg, those fucking fools there. But you as a spectator know, and you will be able to watch it and follow along on like a mini-map, I guess, and you'll be able to follow the action, and you can even place bets. Honestly, it's eerily similar to that super stinker mega shitter movie I just watched like a month ago and made a video on called Rollerball from 2002, where they created a brand new sport whose whole focus was on betting, getting people hooked on like sports betting and making tons of money through that. I kind of get similar vibes with sperm racing here, even though they try and preach it as like a raising awareness about male infertility. Doesn't really seem to be the primary focus of this event. They openly acknowledge that they know it's goofy and silly, it's self-aware, but it's supposed to have a positive message about raising awareness on declining male fertility rates. But when you put betting in there, real money involved, no one's going to give a fuck about what the message is as long as they can make some money off the meme.
Will there be any gambling?
We've been offered a lot of money from sponsors that are from casinos or a bunch of adult things, right? And they offered a lot more money, but we just haven't taken it. Most of our main sponsor is Nucleus, which is a DNA testing company, right? So we kind of want to veer away from the degeneracy and actually turn this into a health thing. So most of our sponsors are actually health, and especially with betting, right? We're not partnering with a massive casino, we're partnering with a prediction market. We're going to give biomarkers and stuff like that.
They did an interview with TMZ, which they did highlight multiple times about how the focus is on, trying to make this more of a health-focused event. But when the question of gambling got up, he said they didn't take any sponsorships from any big casinos or anything like that, Instead, they've partnered with something else in regards to betting. So there is still betting. It's just not, stake-sponsored sperm race or anything like that. I don't know why he didn't just say, like, yeah, there's gambling, but we're not partnered with a big casino. Instead, he started by making it seem like, no, there won't be gambling, but at the end he does mention they have partnered with someone for betting. And in multiple sources now, I've read that it's going to be gambling through something called Polymarket, and long-term they want to have their own crypto-based betting platform where people can bet on a lot of different variables aside from just who wins the race. So it really seems to me like gambling does seem to be a pretty big part of the sperm racing identity, at least in terms of like goals. Anyway though, let's turn our attention to the Sperm Racing Manifesto. So the team behind this is a startup called Sperm Racing, and the first part of their manifesto is dedicated to outlining the purpose behind this event, which is to bring more attention to male fertility rates that are declining because it's not being talked about enough. Now, interestingly enough, I recently tested my sperm for the first time ever. I actually got to see how the sausage was made in my sack. I posted a video about it. How fertile am I? Answer, very fertile. Super fertile, actually. Really good stats. I would definitely be topping leaderboards right now, probably top 500 global. And I got to actually see my little swimmers for the first time ever. I like a proud father, I got to take a look at them. And it was very cool. I'd probably do a great job if I was to be an athlete in the sperm racing circuit, which I thought was very cool because I thought there was a chance I'd just be sterile. Like, aliens I've been talking about for so long, maybe they got fed up with me talking so much shit, they came in the middle of the night, sucked the piss out of my balls, and ruined any chance I'd ever have of, having kids. But luckily that wasn't the case. Charlie 1, Alien 0. Overall, though, I do feel like the purpose they describe here about talking about male fertility rates declining is a very solid thing to be trying to bring awareness to, because I do think it's an important piece of health people should be more aware of. I'm just not fully convinced that's the main motivator behind sperm racing when you're using real money here with betting. Now let's look at how the actual sport functions here, because initially I thought this would be you'd have two ranked jerkmate competitors come out and they'd have to, ejaculate into a petri dish, and then they'd somehow measure the speed that it takes for them to like fertilize an egg or something. And that would lead to a lot of variables outside of the sperm itself, because then it'd be about who's the optimal meat beater and the strokes per minute. There'd be a lot of min-maxing, and it really wouldn't be about the sperm anymore. That is not the case. So instead, what they've done is build a microscopic racetrack, which you can see in the blueprints there, that's meant to mimic the reproductive system, chemical signals, fluid dynamics, synchronized starts, making sure no one's cheating there. High-resolution cameras are going to track every microscopic move. It'll all be live-streamed with stats, leaderboard, and instant replay, so they have the fucking Jumbotron activated here. And how is the winner determined? It's the sperm that crosses the finish line first, which will be verified by advanced imaging. They also mentioned that there's going to be weigh-ins, sports commentary, the whole kit and caboodle, really. Now, I'm sure everyone's wondering, who are the star athletes here? Who's the LeBron James of sperm racing? Well, the two competing members of the sperm racing, premier are apparently university students from rival schools. So they're going to pit their loads against each other here to see who's fastest. Now the question naturally becomes, how does the collection process works? Because I'm sure all of you know, sperm isn't diamonds. It's not forever. It's not going to live long enough for them to like bust a load the previous night and then bring it in. So the question was asked by TMZ, what does this process look like? And they talk about how they're going to have samples from each of the competitors, and they're going to basically set it up through their systems to get it ready for the race. And also the collection is going to be done at the Palladium on the night of the event, so that way it's as healthy as it can be.
We take that output and then we keep it at body temperature. We do like a cleaning process, so we're able to take just the sperm cells, and then we race it in our microfluidic, which acts as like a microscopic racetrack.
Are they doing this at the Palladium? Not the collection. The collection. No, I'm really asking the collection.
Yeah, the collection is live. It's to keep it as healthy as possible so we can test to see how their biomarkers affected their sperm health.
I don't want to get too graphic, but they're not doing it in front of the audience.
The crowd. They'll be.
No.
Now you're probably saying to yourself, wow, the team behind sperm racing looks really young. And you'd be right. They are really young. The company was started by a 17-year-old named Eric Zhu, and also the co-founder is a 16-year-old named Nick Small. Also, there's someone named Shane Fan, who was the chief executive of an NFT pricing platform named Waterfall, and then someone else named Garrett Nienko, who was a content strategist for Mr. Beast. From what I've read, that's the entire team. Which then brings up the question, is that even legal? Like these are two minors here that are going to be handling semen samples from some university students that blew their load in the bathroom at the Hollywood Palladium there. Like, is that allowed? Like, these university students just giving their cum to these minors to use in this race? I have no idea. I have no clue, but it's really fucking weird if you ask me. But maybe it's totally allowed, by the sports association. Maybe I just don't know ball. No clue, but I found that to be really bizarre. And then even a step beyond the obvious weirdness of this shit, it is also minors that have introduced gambling into their sport. Is that legal? Again, I don't have the answer. I don't know, but the whole thing is so fucking odd. Also, I've seen a lot of buzz on Twitter about sperm racing in regards to a crypto coin, a little shit coin popping off for it. I don't know if it's directly from the sperm racing team or not, but there's a lot of people talking about pumping it and a lot of people really blabbering about the crypto element of sperm racing here. So it's all pretty odd. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of go over it a little bit. Weird shit. That's about it. See ya.